Hey guys, welcome to the Worst Generation podcast where we discuss all things One Piece card game. I'm Orange Samurai D, your level 1 judge, and we got our TCG experts, Evan Garms and Gareth Farrington. So for Treasure Cup, we have one more to go, Dallas, Texas. Everything else is already on the books. We got a lot of kits, a lot of laws, some Luffy.
Yep.
Who do you think is going to win Dallas?
I want there to be a law, just so that there's something different.
In an A?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Law will win because our friend Fern is not going to be there.
That's facts.
But I think Green will win, and I think Luffy also has a shot.
Absolutely. They're the best two decks, I think, when it's a big event like that.
Yeah, I think the extra rounds, like when you look at Vegas,
Yeah.
it was only 8 rounds. It was 256 people. When you see more rounds, the decks that are more consistent are going to play more favorably, you know?
Yeah.
You called it. You
And-
called it.
Yeah, I mean, Evan said this in our last podcast before Vegas. Unfortunately, he wasn't in Vegas with us. But I just think when you look at it, going into Houston, Green has done so well. Luffy has done so well.
Yeah.
They're the only North American winners, one winning Long Beach, one winning Vegas. And I just expect it to continue that flow. I really think it's going to be green or red.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we the people want the law. Actually, the people want, like, the crocodile top. Let's get some blurple in this
They want the
bitch.
spice.
Hell yeah.
But
One guy in Vegas sent me to the Shadow Realm of weird decks, and I played Croc.
Oh, yeah?
I played
You
against-
lost to Croc?
I lost
Yeah.
to Croc. I don't think it's a good matchup for Luffy.
I don't think you're allowed to be a TCG expert anymore.
I don't think so
No.
either. I don't think it's a good matchup for Luffy.
that
Though.
was a great event. It was
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't know you're the Luffy player.
He played 3 Mihawks. I don't know.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's a get good kind of moment.
Yeah, it was wild.
All right.
Set 2, though.
Set 2. Yeah,
two's
set
coming.
2. Yeah.
That's
We got
exciting.
pre-releases right around the
A
corner.
couple weeks. Yeah.
Did you guys sign
Almost
up
there.
for any?
Yeah, really late. Because I didn't
Really?
know I was
Yeah.
supposed to sign up.
So
We were
yeah.
signing up on the airport.
We were in the actual airplane, battling all the thousands of people getting on the app, plus being in no reception inside the airplane. We got into a few, but every store has their own set of rules on how they're doing it. First come, first serve, lottery, and whatnot. We just missed one recently via their store website. We forgot about it. It's fine. We'll survive.
Yeah, we're sitting
But what about
around.
the actual cards, though?
What do you guys think Set 2 will be in America? Because we know what it
So-
was in Japan.
I think it's going to be like Japan,
And
but they're going to
overseas.
learn quicker.
Instantaneous, day one, we're going to see a lot of Zoro,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to see a lot of Mono Green. Whether or not that's going to be Wano or Kid.
Yeah.
What do you think about the outliers like Whitebeard? Like,
I think you're going to see those develop more as the meta develops.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of like early on for the American format, how you just saw like a bunch of Zoros going in, and then eventually like the meta started turning into like, oh wow, look at all like Dofi's a viable option now.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't all just be playing Kaido every week. Oh, look at this, just Kid dominating every single week. And then people started experimenting with a lot with like.
I'm not
Purple.
sure on the logistics, but I think we have more tournaments here in the West than I do in Asia. Like locally, I feel
I'm
like
sure.
in Florida, we play so many times throughout the week that it's like people just get bored of playing the same deck every time.
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
way more variety and experience with these players in the game. So like we're speed running the Japanese meta and coming to the same conclusions a lot quicker.
yeah.
So like it started with Zoro, and then it has some white beer, and then we had green Kid or Kinemon in Japan, even Law Top in the preliminaries too. And I think
Smoker. Don't forget about Smoker.
Oh,
too.
Smoker did it too
did
recently,
well.
yeah. And then I think we're gonna come to the same conclusion a little bit more faster. So
What do you guys think about Ivankov?
I like
it
it.
is the new blue.
I mean, I started Set 1, day 1, our first locals event playing Dofi.
Yeah.
Dofi was my deck. I loved it until people realized that 8 Kid beat it pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Ivankov still suffers to that.
A little.
So my thing with Ivankov is that Ivankov is the high roll deck of the format. It is going to be the crazy, like, oh my god, I got high rolled by Ivankov. They saw this, and this on me. But then, like, consistently, Ivankov's going to sit there and be like, oh, look at all these cards I can't play this turn, so I can draw 3 this turn. But I don't know about you guys. I know that you took a break from TCGs for a while. But Japanese players are some of the high rolliest players I know.
We've seen.
So Ivankov is a deck just meant for them. But I think American players
And
are
they
gonna,
still played it seldomly.
oh yeah,
It
100%.
still wasn't even played high. highly. Like Kaido.
American players are mid-rangey as
Yeah.
hell. So I'm pretty sure that American players are going to figure out some tempo control blue deck that like no one in Japan was playing. Like I would not be surprised if set 2 American players are still playing Dofi in tournament.
I think Dofi could still possibly be viable. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
I think the Jinbei promo we got
Jinbei.
from Treasure
Oh
Cup,
yeah, 100%.
that goes really well into Zoro. We get a 4/6 vanilla that Dofi can now bring out in Gecko Maria. That's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't
we
need-
get
I
the
don't
one drop
need-
Doflamingo that also makes
Yeah.
the deck more consistent.
But you don't even need the one drop. I mean, it doesn't have counter power. It doesn't have Perona top 5. I'm still running
far.
Perona. if
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
running
100%.
Dofi, you
Which
know?
one is it? Oh, that one. Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I just think actually the Bartholomew is more interesting because let's look at the top 2. Grab one like a Bonnie, and you stack your deck so you could grab it right then. So potentially you could set up your top 5. Let's say in your top 5 there's like, I don't know, let's just say 2 level up beams in this scenario, right? You could put 2 level up beams on top, stack it to where you get the level up beam off the Kuma, and then your next card's level up beam. Play down level up beam, draw level up beam, play level up beam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you left your Don available, I mean, it's not that crazy. Like with Doflamingo, you're always comboing things.
Yeah.
And you always have options. And you always have lines. And you create those lines as the game goes on.
And not to mention, dual color leaders, as more sets start coming out, they're going to be a lot more prevalent.
100%.
Yeah.
Like decks like blue purple crocodile, you're going to see a lot more play with that because the more diverse a card pool gets, the more two color leaders are going to start taking over the meta.
It's a lot more blue purple cards now.
And I think we're going to start seeing that. Maybe not as much in set 3 because we still have yellow coming out as a fresh leader. But I think set 4, we're going to see the most prevalent dual color leader meta that we'll ever see as we get into 4 sets of a card pool. But I do think that more and more players are going to start experimenting more
I think
as
by
every set goes out.
set 4, we're gonna have such a diverse pool of dual color leaders, though. So we already got Big Mom, Law, Kaido. You know, it's gonna be well enough to mix any color. Arlong, you know. So I think anyone will have a thing they can play, you know, and just
Yeah, I mean, this next set we get Sanji, we get Z, and we get Garb.
Yes. Two
As
black
our,
leaders.
as our mix. Is there one more? There's usually 4.
The hybrids.
Yeah. Is it just those 3?
We get the Sanji, we get the Zed,
And Garb.
and the Garp.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest are mono, I believe.
So red, black, purple, black, green, blue. Green, blue's interesting.
I think green blue as a color has a lot of potential because it's
Yeah.
the 2 most defensive colors. Like imagine sitting there with 8-drop kid and then level up beaming.
Or even like Doflamingo and you're seeing the top 5 cards of your deck.
Yeah.
Like just knowledge is power.
Yeah,
Especially
100%.
in card games.
and now we're
And the fact
splashing.
that I have that with green and like with things like Bonnie and things.
Yeah, like being able to establish like the aggro plays of green and then also getting tempo control is really big. However, I don't think Sanji's going to be the leader of that defense.
No, I personally don't think Sanji's that good.
No, I think there's going to be like a lot of cool decks around him, but the fact that he's a vanilla requires vanillas to work.
Probably a fun local play at most.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I would
We're
think.
now getting more straw hats of different colors. So that's going to be a thing because you can search easier with your Nami now.
Yeah, I think red
Yeah.
green Luffy, that's going to be a fun deck to play next.
Yeah,
set.
because now we're going to get green straw hats.
Yeah, being able to drop 5/7 Frankie and then being able to set that to active using RG Luffy's skill, that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
A lot of combo opportunities.
And I think red green Luffy is going to be an interesting leader next set.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of like how like in America, well specifically, let me just rephrase that. Specifically in Florida, there's a few players. I'll shout a few of them out. Dehan, who really kind of broke blue purple croc around.
Yeah,
here,
100%.
You know? And it's like that wasn't played in Japan.
No,
you
not
know?
at all.
No.
And then you and I, we really did a lot with red green Luffy. You know, you showed up to the 1K with it,
Yeah,
and
it got popular.
and I played a case tournament with it. I mean, I think the great thing about what Japan has done for us is they've laid out what
This
the
is
meta
what
is.
this is what the meta is. If you want to like consistently do well in tournament,
These
you're
are the
gonna play that.
decks.
But
It doesn't evolve past that. We know that's the deck.
Yeah.
Those are the decks.
100%.
You know, they have figured that out for a reason.
Yeah.
And they are great players as well.
Yeah.
What the cool thing is that we have longer time with it though.
Yeah.
Like we have that knowledge already.
Yeah.
So we can look at something like a red green Luffy. We can look at something like a blue purple croc and be like, For example, I know a few people that are really trying to break Z. They
Oh,
think
yeah.
Z is right on the verge.
Being able to cost reduce and then pop the minus
You know?
cost reduce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
a
mean-
really good color to blend with each other. Purple
So,
and black.
and that's the thing though, like Z's not that prevalent, wasn't never prevalent in
No.
Japan or overseas anywhere. So it's like us having that extra time and that extra knowledge allows us to take a deeper look into each format. And I think that's the super interesting part that we get when we get these formats coming in months after. I mean, Japan is now already on set 3. They're already playing with Big Mom and all these things. And right now, Whitebeard's killing it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what's great now because like Whitebeard was like kind of an outlier deck for set 2. You know, it did well. You know, it got like third. It got a couple second places in huge events. That's doing extremely well. Don't get me wrong, but it was never the Zoro of the set.
Oh no, Zoro
know.
like was just so heavily
Correct.
dominant all of set 2 format in Japan.
But I will say when you look at American Treasure Cups, it was Green Kid.
Yeah.
In
A
Japan,
lot
it was
of
Kaido. You know,
Yeah.
Kaido was everything in Japan.
Yes.
It won so many big events.
Yeah. So now in Japan already, they're on set 3, and they already had their one of their bigger events. And Whitebeard got first and second in the. Sorry for the wording. I'm not quite sure if it's right or wrong. The championships first round, and that was a culmination of the qualifiers from Southeast Asia and other parts of Asia. I'm assuming sometimes it's hard to translate that. So after that, it's going to come to another conclusion where I believe they're going to introduce Japanese players. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm not sure that whether or not they're going to have a world with us or not, because as we were going back home, they actually did drop the news that we are indeed going to have a One Piece Worlds for the global version. So how do you feel about that? That we know when Worlds is happening. So Nationals is happening in January on our roadmap, and then we have Worlds in March, unconfirmed where.
Yeah, Worlds is really interesting, especially for a game where the different parts of the world where you're at, the format's completely different.
Yeah.
Like imagine sitting in front of a Japanese player today where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in set 1 format, and then they flip over Big Mom Leader.
To be fair, that's how it was in Pokemon when I played.
Yeah.
Japan was always like a format ahead almost. So I think that's kind of the norm. I don't know. Maybe it's not the norm with
So
other
In
TCGs.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
There's-
It's different.
There's 2 ways of going about it, where either one way is that you have everyone catch up with whatever the format is that's the highest, or you have everyone go down to what the format is.
So with Pokemon, they came back down to North America.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's every format that I'm ever aware of. And as an American player, you probably don't like
Notice it even.
second think about that. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what the format is. But I imagine for like Japanese players, that must be like a huge.
I remember
They go back.
in 2008. We were playing this deck that Japan didn't play much of. It was Empoleon deck, and I mean I played at 07 Nationals, and what's interesting though is like when they came to Worlds with it, they found this basic Pokemon. It was called Corsola at the time. And it just was like a card that was like fodder in a box. Like it did nothing.
Yeah.
No one thought about this card. And they came over in like top 16, top 8 with it and did all these things
Just broke it.
with this card that no one even thought of anything, you know? But they had the perspective of playing that format, seeing what we did,
Oh yeah.
and then bringing that knowledge to the World Championships.
So it's even a step higher where it's like,
Like
oh,
how we're
okay.
talking about the Japan meta.
Yeah, exactly.
They are doing like the opposite. You know what I mean? And that's really interesting when you speak of Worlds. You know, we don't know exactly what Bandai will do. Speaking of Bandai, Worlds, and Nats, Evan's going to Bandai Nats for
Hey.
Digimon
Oh yeah, I am next
this week. This week?
Yeah.
This
It's
week.
this
yeah,
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does, let's just talk about that for a second since we're talking on the topic.
Yeah.
How does Bandai handle Diginats?
So the way that Diginats does it, there are a few ways that get your invites. Either A, there's going to be store championship tournaments that happen at your locals.
And let me stop you for a second. That has already been announced for One Piece.
Of course, they showed our
Yes.
roadmap. We're gonna have offline, online regionals, and store championships.
Correct. And then I don't think they've announced yet that store championships are going to be a path to Nats.
They have not said it.
However, if
believe-
they follow a path of Digimon, one way to get it is to be able to come in first place. Only way to get it is first place at a store championship.
Okay.
tournament. It's not even top. It's only first place.
Now, how does it trickle down?
What do you mean?
If first place already has his invite, the second place
That's
get
up to the discretion of the store owner.
Because
it? Really?
that's how they said it was going to be for the regionals for us. If the winner already got their invite, it goes on to the next person.
Okay.
Regionals for One Piece is top 16.
No, they already said if somebody already won it, it trickles down to the next
Okay,
person.
so-
it's on the
So it
info
can
guide.
go past the top 16.
Yeah, it was said so
Yes.
on the info sheet.
So I know there was one event where last year's nationals, I won both store championships.
A,
So when I got there, I just gave the win to someone else.
Oh.
In
the finals, you
in
gave
the
the win.
finals, I think I got it to like top 8 or top.
Are you
4.
getting in trouble with Bandai for
that's
saying?
that's collusion.
And then after I got to a certain, I didn't collude. I was just like, I don't need to win this, and I
Yeah.
stopped
Diamonds.
playing. You know, I'm
Yeah.
allowed to concede as a player.
That's a common thing, though.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
And then when another way to get it though is to top these online regionals.
Okay.
So and then we're gonna have in-person regionals. Bandai's really weird because Bandai didn't have in-person events for Digimon.
That was due to
Digimon,
COVID, though.
it was a
Yeah, exactly.
weird time.
It came out during COVID. And so this nationals is actually going to be the first in-person national.
Yeah.
This is going to be the
Nice.
biggest in-person event for Digimon period if I remember correctly. I don't really can think of a bigger event that happened at Digimon. The only other really big event that I can think of is the DigiFest events that
How
happened
many
a few months.
people would you expect to come to nationals?
That's a really weird question. I expect something to be similar to the size of like one of these Treasure Cup events.
Like
Fafundo?
Yeah, because you do have to cap it out, but I believe that like DigiNats, because it was online, you don't have to have a restriction of people sitting in a room next to each other. So I think it almost got up to like 1,000 players.
What's that mean for One Piece, though? Do you think One Piece could have a higher cap than Digimon? Because as we've seen, the hype for One Piece has
So
been unreal.
I think realistically, like we could get to a point where that could happen. However, you just have to think about like just TO restrictions. Like where are we going to find an event that we can put 1,000 people into a room? That's not very common.
Or a server to fit
You're
the many
looking
rooms.
at that point. You're looking at either a big Comic Cons or Bandai as an organization renting out like a huge level resort.
Yeah.
I mean,
And is that something that they're willing to do, or are they willing just to cap it out at 512?
Top 16 does get the pricing of the Nationals invite, but then if there's the situation where a top 16 person already had their invite, it will go down to the next highest ranking person, so 17th onwards and whatnot.
I don't think it should.
You don't think it
That's
should?
interesting. Yeah,
I think-
no. If you don't
yeah.
get top 16, I don't think you should get the invite.
So realistically, especially for online events, in Digimon, you saw like the same players topping all the time.
Sure.
So when you have consistency in an online event where it's like, oh, these same like for the most part like the same 300 players are playing in every single event, same 200 players are playing in every single event, and then you're like, oh, the top 20% of players are always topping or whatever. You're gonna like that's going to trickle down a lot.
Yeah, that's they gotta fill the space.
and they need to fill up those.
Yeah.
Unless you want to show up to nationals and it's like 100 players. And
yeah,
Just top 64.
That's
yeah, well, it's like
that's-
it's like the 100 best players in the world right there, but they do
Yeah.
have to pad out
What's
an
wrong
event to
with
pad out
that?
an event.
they gotta give them wins,
They need to make it look good.
right?
And then also you're paying for your. Well, no, I guess you didn't. You did not pay for your to show up to DigiNats this year.
Oh wow.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I just signed up.
So your flight was comped and everything?
No, well,
No,
I
no,
paid.
no.
I'm saying like you know how like when you sign up for Treasure Cup or something like that, and you have to pay like.
He's
$30,
not paying $30.
$40.
Yeah.
I didn't pay.
I mean, hell,
But
I would
honestly,
hope
I
so.
think I would have
Yeah.
preferred to pay $30 if I got better pricing for showing up.
Yeah. See, but I don't know. Maybe I come from like the golden age of Pokemon where they like flew you out. Like
Yeah,
my
but
trip to
because
Hawaii was
Pokemon
covered.
Company-
When you're like comparing Bandai, which is a huge company though, I will not disregard that, to the biggest company in the entire world. That's the most profitable IP in the world.
It is. Video games, merchandise.
Like there's nothing bigger than Pokemon.
Yes.
So it is hard to compare that.
But they don't have the One Piece.
Absolutely
No.
not. And that's why we're here.
Guess what? The One Piece is real set to because we got Whitebeard.
We do have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to play it. I think it's gonna be really good.
So Evan, are you winning this weekend?
Yeah, Black War Greymon. It's
Well-
going to be me playing Black War Greymon, or it's going to be some other person playing Black War Greymon, but it's going to be Black War
That
Greymon.
deck? Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea
That
what
or
means.
like,
I don't either.
No.
This is
Yeah,
a
I
One
know,
Piece
right?
It's not.
podcast.
It's okay. I know Greymon. Yeah.
yo, Daniel, is it going to be Black War Greymon that wins this event?
Yeah.
So it's literally just going to be coin flip mirror matches because the deck is so like figured out too. Like
Really?
it's not like I have room for this tech card.
Didn't you guys just get the set before?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting when we couldn't use the starter deck 5 for Treasure Cup. I think that's interesting that Bandai chose to do that. but not that.
I was talking to someone about that, and they made a really good point that one of the Treasure Cups happened before that deck.
Oh, Long Beach did.
So they wanted it
So they wanted it consistent with the same card pool for the rest of the
Long
deck.
Beach was literally like the next day. Didn't that drop February 3rd and then Long Beach was the 4th?
I think so, something like that.
So
Yeah, okay.
to keep things consistent with that event process, they did it. However, every card game that I've ever gone to, they are very good with dropping products before big events because that's the best way to sell things.
Sure.
Because as a player, if you're trying to like min-max your money, you're not going to buy boxes. You're going to buy singles.
Yeah.
So buying singles on a secondary market, like that's the cheapest way to do it, but you do have to wait like a week to get your stuff in. But I didn't have that time. I was gonna buy singles, but I had to buy 2 boxes.
Oh, wow.
I had to buy 2 boxes and then trade for my deck because
Wow.
I have to play in Diginauts next week. You know.
Was that a lot of cards you needed?
Well, it's really weird because Digimon is at a point where basically every set, whatever the new set is, that's the meta, and you have to just play everything with the new meta. And then maybe there's like a handful of like cards. Like I'm borrowing like $100 worth of promos that I had to use for my deck, but like for the most part, like my entire deck was like
That's interesting because when we look at set 2, you don't see as much variation, I feel like.
Yeah,
Nah.
Like Kid's still good.
100%.
Kaido's still good.
and
Zoro's still good.
I do think that's going to remain the same. Like, if we're talking about trends with Digimon, there's like staple cards that have came out and set. There are rares that came out and set 1 of Digimon that are like $20 right now. Rares.
Yeah.
Like, imagine like playing down Nami and then you're thinking to yourself like, oh, I couldn't get that Nami because I can't afford the $20 per copy.
We'll get reprints down the line for sure.
Probably find a different
That
hobby.
card has like 4 reprints and it's still $20.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hopefully it don't come that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, any more closing thoughts for this weekend?
No, we will be next covering the pre-releases,
Yeah.
and then we'll look at. Well, we'll see how you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how you
Hopefully,
do. We'll get some results
it'll
over
be the
here.
If you're
Digimon
national
National
champion
Champion
or not.
Yeah,
on the next
hey,
one.
we already got Treasure Cup Las Vegas second place finalist with
Leave,
Kaido.
leave the over/under on Evan's success in the comment section.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's see how good my luck is to coin flip against the mirror match all day.
I mean, if Kaido can.
Yeah, but I feel like he wasn't playing the
Trevor
mirror
has
match.
the over. I have the under.
I believe.
But I love you.
I believe.
I hope you do well.
Yeah, same buddy.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It means
I can
nothing.
feel it in your
The
heart.
endearing love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you'll do great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyways,
it's in LA,
Yeah, it's in
Oh.
LA. I'm playing.
so that's
LA.
at least a cool trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to Nintendo Land,
You
maybe?
can go to Disney.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, that does it for this week.
Yep.
Diego, you got anything else?
No, just well, we'll be back on next week with the next video we'll be doing. Pre-release stuff, talking about him. Might have a special guest coming along. Do you want to tell him who it is?
Oh, we're going to have
Yeah.
Rizu the Squirrel, who is best known for his Digimon content. However,
Yes.
he also posts some One Piece stuff.
He's been killing it.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. He's a friend of ours. He'll
Mm-hmm.
also be in Diginauts. On top of that, if you guys are going to Diginauts and you just happen to see me, let me know that you guys know me from the
Yo.
podcast. That'd be super awesome.
Yeah.
Like meeting fans. I'll play you in a game of One Piece because I like One Piece more than Digimon right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice to play that instead of
Digimon's
Digimon.
kind of sacky, man.
In the format it is right now, it's extremely sacky. But anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna have Rizu the Squirrel here, and then we're gonna be talking a little bit about the Diginauts because it's
Yeah.
gonna be me and him are also gonna be there right now, or then maybe now when you watch this, who knows
Yeah.
how fast we get this edited.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a good time, and I'll be
Very
back,
cool.
and I'll either be very upset or very sad, either way.
Either way is
Or
great.
Very
Yeah.
upset, very sad. Yeah, it's probably only gonna be that.
Exciting content.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think you'll do well.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
We'll see.
Anyways,
We'll see.
thank
I
you guys
really
for
want the top
watching.
32 jacket.
Join us on our social feeds too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
join us on the social feeds. Ask
Yeah.
any questions or anything you'd like to see in future podcasts. Let us know. I'm going to go hang out with the undefeated side event champion from the Las Vegas event that played Law right now. So my mind's distracted.
Best of one,
Hey,
undefeated.
Fern.
So anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.